Hello, everybody. This is Wolfang. How we all doing today? It is Thursday, November the 2nd. Pretty nice day here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Looks like we're around 52 degrees. It was cold this morning, though. So this will probably be my last, I don't know. I don't want to say spooky, but off the wall. Nothing to do with prepping. But that's all right. I like to mix it up. But I'm going to chat about Area 51. And this one's a little lengthy, so bear with me. Watch it to the end. If not, whatever, look the shit up yourself. But I find Area 51 interesting. So let's get to it. So it says the bizarre truth. Everyone has a theory about the mysteries hidden at Area 51, but few people know its chilling history. It's on the map. You can find Area 51 in the deserts of Nevada, just 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas. It's located beside a dry lake known as Groom Lake. We don't recommend that you get too close, however, for your own safety. You might be wondering why it's called Area 51, and the answer might surprise you for how ordinary it is. It was derived from a grid reference that existed on an Atomic Energy Commission map. What were you expecting? Something a bit more sinister? It says, although Area 51 is found in Nevada, its administrators are actually found in Southern California. These administrators are the staff of Edwards Air Force Base. Interestingly, Area 51 shares a border with Nevada test site, the Yucca Flat region. In case that name doesn't mean anything, this is the region is where more than 700 nuclear tests were carried out by the United States Department of Energy. Does this mean that Godzilla might rise up from the Groom Lake one of these days? Although Area 51 is kept off limits, who doesn't work there? The surrounding area has evolved into a popular tourist destination. The small town of Rachel, which is nearby Area 51, often entertains these tourists. Nevada has gone one step further by dubbing State Route 375, the nearby highway, as the extraterrestrial highway. This was done both for the conspiracies around Area 51 and the repeated testimonies of people who claim to have witnessed UFO activity in the area. Area 51's original airfield was established during the Second World War, but only after the Americans entered the field in 1941. This airfield was known as Indian Springs Air Force Auxiliary Field. In a very humble origin story, the airfield consisted of two runways that were each 5,000 feet long and unpaved. Section 31 was already taken. Area 51 has gone by a number of names over the course of its existence. Some of the monikers which didn't stand the test of time are Paradise Ranch, Watertown, and Dreamland. To be honest, we can see why people didn't use the nicknames that sound more suitable for Peter Pan's home than a top secret military base. Speaking of those other nicknames, we actually know the origins of one of them. Kelly Johnson was one of the designers who worked on Lockheed's U 2 aircraft, which was the first Area 51's project. More on that later. Johnson coined the term Paradise Ranch for the area as an attempt to encourage workers to move out there and help establish Area 51 in the first place. Franklin, given the facility current reputation, all he'd have to do nowadays is confirm one of the many conspiracy theories about the place online. The original layout of Area 51 during the 1950s was quite humble in comparison to what it's become now. We already mentioned the unpaved runway, but there were also 3 hangars, a control tower, a number of shelters, and trailer homes, which housed a small crew of workers who lived there. To try and help staff off boredom, a volleyball court and cinema were also built in Area 51. Oh shit, what'd I do? Oh. The original layout of Area 51 in the 50. Wait a minute. Oh, next slide. I hit the wrong thing. Excuse me. Interestingly, for all that, this place is a place of such serious national security, nothing is blocking you from trying to approach it. You heard us right. There are no fences or walls around Area 51. What they did put up, however, were a number of warning signs. There's more than warning signs from what I've heard. There's sensors and cameras and all kinds of stuff out there. We'll just get the subject stuff out of the way. Over the decades, endless theories have been established as to what really goes on in Area 51. These theories have ranged from artificial weather control, the development of time travel, studied downed alien craft, and programs conducted by a government which supposedly rules over the entire world. I like that UFO crash picture. That's kind of cool. Naturally, given its ominous presence in American society, Area 51 has been parodied in several films over the years. Some of the more well known recent films that have featured locations similar to Area 51 or which have referenced the facility included Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Fantastic Four and the movie Paul. Never saw Paul. During the Lockheed program in the 1950s, a number of personnel had to be flown in regularly from outside of Area 51. And this presented a problem for effective secrecy. The solution that was thought of was an unorthodox flying schedule. Personnel would fly very early in the morning on Mondays and left the facility late at night on Fridays. Presumably, everyone would be too busy recovering from or preparing for the weekend to notice a bunch of guys coming and going from the Nevada desert. In 1959, Project Oxcart was first established at Area 51. Among the purpose of this project was the testing and training for Lockheed A-12 aircraft. A year after the project was first launched, an 8,500-foot runway was completed to replace the original. Speaking of renovations, in 1961 witnessed a complete overhaul of Area 51 original layout, replacing or repurposing the existing buildings. Among the new additions to the facility were three surplus Navy hangars, a reservoir pond with a perimeter of trees for privacy, and 130 Babbitt duplex housing units. If you try to use Google Maps to find Area 51, you'll notice that someone at Google has quite the sense of humor. Anytime someone moves a mouse cursor over Area 51, the cursor turns into a little spaceship. And no, you can't use that as proof that you've seen alien spacecraft. Ha ha. Let's see, what is that? Can the government cover this up? One of the lesser known films which deals with Area 51 would have to be the 1997 TV movie Trucks, based on a short story by Stephen King. Excuse me. The story features aliens arriving at Nevada and conquering us and turning trucks into a setting beans which target and kill people. And yes, this film was inspired by the same short story which inspired King's directional debut, Maximum Overdrive. And Maximum Overdrive is a good movie. I like that movie. It's got a good soundtrack to it. Along with new projects and programs, Area 51 has only expanded over the years. Expansions were carried out in 1983, 1995, and 2015. Speaking of the expansions, in 2015, the particular expansion was a seizure of land which had belonged to Nevada family for nearly 140 years. Because the land overlooked the base, a federal judge deemed that it posed a risk to national security and so signed an order which transferred the property ownership to the United States Air Force. Wow, that's messed up. So a family had a section of this land for 140 years and the government stepped in and took it from them. But that might be something to look up. Well, they probably won't tell you what they got paid. It should surprise nobody that the found footage horror genre should tackle the subject of Area 51 in one of their films. In 2015, Area 51 was released by Paramount and Sure. The film follows a group of young people infiltrating the top secret facility to get answers for what happened to their friend after he was abducted. Three guesses whether they'll find extraterrestrial when they arrive. One of the most recent ways that Area 51 has appeared in the Zeitgeist is thanks to James Rolfe, best known to millions of fans as the Angry Video Game Nerd. At last count, his videos have been seen more than 1.5 billion times. When the internet celebrity got the clout and finance to make a movie about his famous character, Ralph, created a story which involved aliens, Area 51, and the Angry Video Game Nerd. Okay. I have no clue who that dude is. In 1974, a CIA official whose name is lost to history sent a memo to William Colby, the then director of CIA. The memo reported photographs taken by astronauts on board the Skylab space station. Specifically, the photographs were taken of a location which is clearly sensitive to the CIA, based on the language of the memo. It also resulted in a furious debate within the department as to whether it was ethical to classify previously unclassified images in the name of national security. Their famous words to use. Space historian Dwayne A. Day was one of the people particularly interested in the what is now known as the Skylab incident. He was convinced that the sensitive location was Area 51, and this was the time when the US government still didn't even acknowledge that Area 51 was a thing. In 2006, Day published Astronauts in Area 51, the Skylab Incident. Long before Area 51 was established at Groom Lake, silver and lead were being mined around the aforementioned lake during the mid 19th century. In fact, the lake got its name from the English mining company called Groom Lead Mines Limited. It was this company which financed the establishment of the Conception mines during the 1870s. The mines around what would later be Area 51 stay active for just under a century. Ownership of the mines did change during that time. Groom Lead Mines Limited relinquished their interest to J.B. Osborne and his parents. The mines were temporarily closed in 1918, but resumed production after WW1 had ended. The mines closed for good in the 1950s, just as Area 51 itself was established instead. One of the most famous portrayals of Area 51 in mainstream pop culture would have to be the 1996 sci fi movie Independence Day. In it, the theory that aliens are being kept in that facility is taken to its logical conclusion by having it be the new base of operations for the good guys when the White House is destroyed by alien invasion. We suddenly wondering if that movie was ever screened at the real Area 51, just so everyone could have a laugh. Speaking of Independence Day, a poster for the film appears in the TV series The X-Files, that classic show about shadowy conspiracy, paranormal activity, and everything in between. Surprisingly, Area 51 is only brought up in passing in the show. Frankly, we'd be sure that they'd spend at least a whole season there. So, there's more and more to go on about Area 51. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that I know there's some people that are really into this Area 51. And you cannot get close to it. They have ground sensors. They have night vision sensors. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. You get too close and you will be found. You just can't walk into it. So I thought I'd share a little bit about the Area 51, some of its odd history. I know this is a kind of a lengthy video, but that's all right. I hope everybody has a great Thursday evening, and I'll talk to you all later. Blessed be, stay safe. Bye.